Me, a bro.
Yep.
He, a dude.
That's good stuff. All right. Let's try it. Okay. Welcome to the We Will Journey podcast. We're talking about faith and life as it happens, and not the glossy exterior we wish it was.
Oh.
What, man? What did I do wrong?
I think you said it's because all the things I was thinking about before. But we can edit that. You got that part good.
Oh.
You got it good. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay, just...
Now it's your turn.
Good?
Yeah.
Wait. We're going to get under the surface. I've said all those things before. We should have waited down and dirty until after we read this part.
Okay.
Okay. Wait. We get under the surface and explore the down and dirty. Okay. Maybe we should. It doesn't have to be word for word, right?
No. I mean, I gave an interpretation.
Okay. All right. We get under the surface and explore the down and dirty of life as it pertains to our beliefs, our relationships, politics, and absolutely everything else.
Oh, there we go. That was good. All right. Are you digging our theme music? Well, we dig it too. You can check out more Jane Gilman music at our website, janegilman.com, or you can download some of her music to your playlist on iTunes. That's GILLMAN.
Three, two, one.
Well, Seth, how are you today?
This evening I'm doing quite well. I just helped wrangle my kids up and got them into their rooms. We had a delicious dinner and a fulfilling, busy day. I think it's I'm doing pretty good. Yeah. What about yourself?
Well, I'm kind of like on my lunch break right now. I had leftover lasagna, and I have two boys at home today because they didn't have school. They haven't really had school much this week because of the weather. But
Too hot?
yeah, it's too warm. Too warm. We had some record low temperatures, like without wind chill, -20 type stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been very cold, and a lot of pipes freezing in people's homes and things like that. So it has been, it's been just a little bit of a cold stretch in the United States, and we don't necessarily love it all that much. It does create some challenges, but anyways, things are little by little warming back up, and we're thankful for that.
So you're at like -15 now? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's above zero today.
Oh.
It's supposed to get up to like 16 or 17 eventually, but right now it's still below 10 degrees. Yeah.
That's weird. That's why I always think it's so weird in winter, is it could be like a 25, 30 degree difference and it still feels freezing cold.
Yeah. You do notice, though, -20 to 5 degrees. So you definitely notice that. That 5 degrees feels really good. Actually, it got up to like 12 yesterday. 12 and sunny felt amazing. I couldn't believe how good that felt.
Well, and it's all about the wind and the sun, right? If it's not windy and the sun shines, then bon appetit.
So today, Seth, you wanted to talk about, we had never kind of done like a year in review. 2020. We obviously started our podcast in April. I think April is when we started recording. Isn't that just somewhere in there.
Somewhere around the lockdown stuff happening.
Yeah, when all the pandemic stuff really started to kick in, and I remember when we started this, I was actually working on a fitness room in our facility. Do you remember that? And I was remodeling a fitness room, and we had a number of conversations while I was working in the fitness room. We weren't necessarily recording, but we were just talking about the podcast and different things. So,
wow,
I would be painting or whatever I was doing. But yeah, so the fitness room is done. And we utilize it now. We're working out in the fitness room about 3 days a week, so that's good. Yeah.
Do you have like an indoor gym built up in there, basketball hoop, all that?
No, we have 2 treadmills, 2 ellipticals, kind of it's like a rower type machine. It's a little more complex than that. It's really good for rehab. We have a bike, and then I have a bench and dumbbells, like the dumbbells, the Bowflex kind that you can adjust. Wow. So they go from like 5 to 52 pounds. So
you're going to be ripped when I see you next.
I'm pretty ripped right now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm definitely pretty ripped. So
it's hard with that, you're wearing the puffy jacket. It's hard to see. So
yeah, it hides it well. I bet. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. But
that's why we grow beards too. It hides our faces.
Yeah, the beard hides the double chin, and the more length I let the beard get, the bigger the double chin I can hide. So that's really nice.
Mine adds some width to my face.
Yeah, but But anyway, so you wanted to talk about 2020 highlights, lowlights, in betweens, that kind of stuff. I
think it'd be fun.
I assume
to mention some of the stuff that we enjoyed, so then the people out there can be like, "Hey, yeah, I'll check that out," or just also, I'd love to hear your highlight and lowlight of like your personal 2020.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. How do you want to wade into this water? Should we?
Let's start like this.
Favorite Switchfoot song? Go. No, I'm kidding.
Favorite Switchfoot song is not their song, but it's that one that I sent you. It's a cover of Muse, right? Not Mute Math, but Muse. I think it is the.
Is it Swim Good?
No. It's way more poppy, way more upbeat. They're singing on the boat. I think dressed like the guys from
like Life Aquatic.
Yeah,
that was probably so. If we want to start right there, Switchfoot paying tribute to a movie that I love, which is The Life Aquatic with Bill Murray as Steve Zissou.
Yeah,
that was kind of a little bit of a highlight for me. I love that movie. I love Zissou's character. And the fact that Switchfoot, which is a band I really do enjoy, would pay tribute, it made me feel connected to them in a way that I didn't realize we had such a strong connection. So now I definitely feel like the guys from Switchfoot and I would get along really well.
I've met and I've talked to John Foreman. He seems really cool, and if I think he's cool, then I assume you'd think he's cool, and so you guys, I think you'd be best friends.
Probably.
Float on,
John.
Float on is
John.
The song. It's
if you're
Mouse.
Listening to this, you will soon find out how to contact us, and so please do send us an email or tweet. Or whatever you like to do, John, and we will connect. We will become best friends shortly, I assume. Maybe by the time our next podcast comes out, John and I will be bros. We'll just be hanging,
Dude, that would be actually something I'd really enjoy, is to interview him at some point. But anyways, the song, I don't know if you heard me, it's Float On originally by Modest Mouse. I had said Muse or Mute Math. I knew it was an M, though.
M. You had the M part. That's good.
Such a fun song. And then and their cover of it, and they're on a boat. So, and then also they did the song they had done a long time ago, Old Borrego. It's like talking about New Year's and spending it in this. I guess it's a town, Old Borrego. I don't know, but they did like an updated version for 2020, which is that's really fun. Mm-hmm. So what? Yeah, let's talk about our favorite or a song. Any other songs, albums from the year 2020, or that you heard for the first time in 2020 that stuck out to you?
Well, you know that I'm a huge Leanne LaHavas fan.
Yes,
and
I thought you were going to say Leanne Rimes.
No, not Leanne Rimes, but Leanne LaHavas, and she put out a new album in 2020, and so that was exciting. I think she is phenomenal. So, anyways, that was cool.
She's got a nice voice. I'll give you that.
She has a beautiful voice. She plays the guitar. She checks all the boxes. You know, she's just got the right sound. And so, anyways, that was cool. Yeah, there's a ton of music. You know, you kind of forget all of the music that you've listened to, especially over the course of a year.
That is very
so much comes out, but.
That is very, very much true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, honestly, it was a couple of those not Lighthouse. Man, why am I thinking Lighthouse?
21 Pilots. That was one of the big ones for you.
21 Pilots I enjoyed, but they didn't have any new stuff in 20. Oh no, that's true. That's true. They had that one song.
Dude, they had a pandemic song.
They had the song. You're absolutely right. That's why we're having this conversation, so I can remember it too. Yeah. I really like that song. It's the
critical.
Tell me you're right. Tell me you're okay.
Yeah, something.
Man, French Toast. Why can't I think of the name of that? But it was.
Yep.
No, 21 Pilots. Level of Concern.
Level of Concern. Yes. Critical mass. Level of Concern. Whatever. That was a good tune.
Also a 21 Pilot song that I discovered. It's a cover of a different band. It's called Cancer, I believe. It's really pretty heavy song, but if you have good bass, it's called Cancer. It's really heavy, really kind of the lyrics are pretty intense. It's about someone going through cancer.
Yeah.
Cancer treatment.
Yeah.
But the song, it just brings such an emotional punch because there's a bass drop in the song that plays into it. Man, that song, if you listen to it loud with a good bass, it kind of gives you chills.
I'm looking here just a little bit to see if there was anything that. Oh, Colony House came out with a new. Are you? Have you ever listened to Colony House?
No, Colony House.
Yeah, they came out with some new stuff.
What are they? Are they more folky?
They toured with. So when we saw Switchfoot in Denver, they were on tour with Switchfoot, and that's how we found out about them.
Colony House, okay. You have to remember that. I'll write it down.
Yeah.
Colony House Furniture?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Oh.
No, definitely not that. So.
I mean, we can't forget our theme song was kind of new for us this year for this podcast, and I've heard that a lot, and I've enjoyed it, and enjoyed having that be part of our what do you want to say? Part of our experience. Yeah.
It's been. I told
Jane Gilman.
I told Jane it was kind of like the comfort food of our podcast. It's like comforting to hear it. When we listen to our episodes, which I have not actually listened to our last episode yet. So I was gonna do that. I'll probably do that tomorrow. So I actually haven't had a chance to listen to it in its entirety. But
Well, I mean, you know who's a part of it and what we say, kind of. So
I do. I vaguely remember the conversation.
might be surprised.
I said that? What?
There's always some things that jump up on you.
Yeah.
If you do go back and listen to it.
Yep. So do you have a movie of 2020 that stood out to you?
Movie of 2020. So a movie that's actually fresh in my head.
That's hard.
I watched recently and wasn't it just came out, which is a new Tom Hanks movie, Western, News of the World. And that really enjoyed that, even though it's very, very predictable. I really enjoyed it. But as far as sorry, go ahead if you have something in your mind.
Oh, you said Tom Hanks, and I was just thinking about the Apple movie on World War II, the U-boat, the U-boat movie. It was the German U-boats and the ships, and he takes this fleet of ships across this area where they didn't have any protection, basically.
Right.
And that was a good movie, and I don't remember the name of it, which chances are I won't remember the names of any movie that I will have watched. So you'll have to do a fair amount of research. But the one movie that I do remember is we rented Trolls. Do you remember that Trolls came out in 2020?
Yeah, it was a new one, right? I think there's been a few of them.
Yeah, and the little baby troll, that's born in
I've never actually seen any of them, but
okay, yeah. So there was basically one scene from the previews that I saw that I thought looked hilarious. My name is Tiny. My name is Tiny Diamond. He's basically birthed, and he starts rapping right away, and it's amazing. And that was really the only reason that I wanted to watch it.
Uh-huh.
But
did it live up to your expectations, or?
Absolutely not. It wasn't that great. In that scene, I felt like they could have really embellished that, because the preview was basically the scene. And so that was a little disappointing. I was hoping for a little more there, but would I do it again? If knowing what I know now, yes, I would. I would rent Trolls for however much I paid for it, and I would watch it again. So that was good.
Well,
that was good. Are you digging our theme music? Well, we dig it too. You can check out more Jane Gilman music at our website, janegilman.com, or you can download some of her music to your playlist on iTunes. That's GILLMAN.
One for me is Tenet. I know that's kind of, people have mixed feelings about it, and I don't know if you saw it, the latest Christopher Nolan movie. Probably wasn't as good as I hoped, but it has a few sequences, and maybe we talked about this once, but it has a few sequences that combined with the soundtrack are pretty incredible. And just the way he does movies, I'm someone who I don't like a lot of special effects. I don't like a lot of computer graphics and stuff. And so I think that's one of the reasons I really, really like his movies, because he tells really good stories, but then he also has amazing effects that feel realistic, which is very rare. When you think of big action movies and blockbuster kind of things, it's always okay, obviously that's fake. And so, anyways, and that movie has some really cool scenes in it, and I like the main dude. He's cool as all get out. John David Washington. He's Denzel Washington's son.
Okay.
And he just plays one of those manly dudes that kicks butt.
a manly, butt-kicking kind of dude.
You know?
Now, I'll deviate just a little bit. Now, this is not from 2020, but we enjoyed it immensely in 2020. So the boys and I imagine the whole world, loves the movie Nacho Libre. I can't imagine anybody not loving that movie. And so anyways, the boys and I, we dialed up the Nacho Libre soundtrack. Uh-huh. And so while we're driving down the road, we'll just jam to that soundtrack, and it's kind of a wonderful thing because you automatically start thinking about the scenes from the movie as you're listening to the soundtrack, and so that is something that we did in 2020 that has been really good. That's been a really good thing for us. But
I need to go back. It was really cheap once on iTunes, so I bought it, but I need to go back and watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
Because
it's
one of those movies that kind of gets funnier almost the more you watch it, which is pretty rare, and I feel like movies like that don't get out, at least for me personally, they don't really come out that much anymore. Like movies that actually are funny and silly, and then they even get funnier. It's kind of once in a blue moon, but... that's one of them. Another movie that I enjoyed, I'm kind of looking at some of the movies that came out in 2020 and trying to remember, but one that I really liked was The Way Back with Ben Affleck, where he's a alcoholic high school basketball coach.
Ooh.
I
did not watch that.
He was a basketball star in high school, and then got married, had a family, blah blah blah. His life kind of fell apart, and then he went back they asked him to come back and coach the team, and so it's kind of him, trying to. It's kind of like it's a redemption story, but not all like feel good. Everybody is happy and everything works out in the end. It seems pretty like a pretty realistic look at someone who's going through that struggle, and it's just a good performance by him.
Yeah.
So,
something that people may not know about us, Seth, is that both of us actually love to cook. And when we actually get together, one of the things that we do probably quite a bit of is we cook together. Mm-hmm. And so maybe let's talk about one of our favorite food experiences of 2020. Mm-hmm. Do you have a food experience that stands out to you?
Well, yes, I do. So the thing is, like, as you know, this pandemic thing was going on this year, so I didn't necessarily go out to eat very much, which is usually the case anyways, but even more so. Like, it's probably been months since I've been out to eat. So anyways, that being said, my experiences have mostly been connected to my own home and my own cooking. But I got to try some new things out, and I did a lot of smoking meats this year.
Oh, wow. I didn't know about this. I didn't know that you bought a smoker?
No, so last year, or I guess 2019 or something, I decided to get a Weber grill. I got this used, just the classic Weber grill, the circle one.
The old school, yeah.
Charcoal. Because I had a really teeny tiny one. All we have here is a balcony. We don't have a yard, so if we kind of had to check with the neighbors, make sure they don't mind if we do a little grilling. And I had a teeny tiny little table grill, charcoal grill, but it just wasn't great at all. And I found this one that was basically brand new for $50 on Craigslist kind of thing. And so I started looking up stuff like, what all can you do with it? Obviously, you can grill, and yeah, you can smoke with it. I'm sure, like, if you have an actual smoker, it makes things easier. But it did work, and I did a lot of mostly like pork butt, some different chunks of beef, and then I smoked our turkey for Thanksgiving. Believe it or not,
wow,
that was a tight fit, and like the lid was like basically pressing down on the very top of the turkey because we found a kind of a fat turkey, and it's a small Weber grill. It's not a big one,
Mm-hmm.
but it tasted delicious. And the
Wow.
first time I ever did that, that's a big step too. Smoking like a little pound of pork is one thing, but smoking that turkey, really got to cross your T's and dot your I's or whatever. So, anyways, really, man, a couple of the cuts that I did turned out really, really good. And it's just the flavor, sometimes because smoking is I don't know if you've done it much, but it's like, especially on the grill, I know there's like different kinds of smoking, like cold, you can like raw smoke stuff or whatever. But it's
Cold smoke.
yeah,
They call it cold smoking. Yeah.
but with this, like, the temperature is like such a big deal always, and you got to make sure it doesn't get too high and too low and fluctuate or whatever. So, I mean, it didn't always turn out 100% how I wanted it to, but the flavor was pretty much always incredible. And a couple times it was like bada bing, bada boom. So a couple of those smokes that I did would probably be my highlight. Also doing some ice cream of late. We got an ice cream maker, and so I've been experimenting mostly with peanut butter or vanilla and chocolate combinations.
That sounds good. I'll take the peanut butter ice cream. Have you ever had Subway? So Subway and like TCBY, they're like a thing. So you have like a Subway franchise, and then you can have TCBY. They have Monster Cookie ice cream.
TCBY. I don't know if I
Yeah.
know that.
They have Monster Cookie ice cream,
Okay.
and it is out of this world. It has peanut butter. It has chocolate. It has like little oatmeal cookie crunchy stuff in it. And if I really want to be, not healthy, Monster Cookie ice
That's
cream.
what you go in?
That's other than just a lot of the other things I do on a more regular basis. So, yeah.
Is that
Which would be Starbucks or Scooters or, some of those places. Scooters. So one of the things that I started in 2020 was chaplaincy.
yes?
So that started for me in the fall, and that has been outstanding. Probably, I'm going to say, I'll use the term life-changing, even though I'm kind of in the midst of it. But I'm guessing it's kind of like a transformational type thing for me. It's been wonderful. I've loved it. But in addition to that, where I drive in my commute to go to the hospital, which is extensive, I spend a night there. It's like 175 miles, but
Wow.
there is a Scooter's Coffee on my way there in the morning. And so one of the things that Natalie and I joke about now is, she'll ask me if I've earned any smiles on my way there, because instead of points, they call them smiles.
Aww.
So you have your phone app and you earn smiles. And I don't want to brag, but tomorrow I have a free coffee.
Wow.
Tomorrow.
How
on my way
how much
through.
do you have to spend to get that free?
It's like 200 million smiles, and then you get like a free coffee. That's a great deal. So
You go there like twice a day just to get to it.
Yep. After 6 months of extensive usage.
So are you saying that Scooter's Coffee itself is a highlight, or just the smiles part? That's the highlight of the food experience.
I like both.
Okay.
I like both. Actually, they have. Maybe I'll get some free stuff. Really share this, people. If you're listening, share it with your friends.
Ooh.
Tell everybody about Scooters.
How far-reaching do you think they are?
I'm a Caramelicious guy, so I love a Caramelicious with an extra shot. So 3 shots
That's
and
a
like
song
their
by Black Eyed Peas, isn't it, Fergie?
okay. I don't know.
Caramelicious?
But they've got this bagel sandwich, everything bagel. I love everything bagel. So sausage, egg, cheese, smoked Gouda. So that actually, sorry, we just had a bang. I just got my hand tangled up.
Wow, that was
Anyways,
scary.
I know it was. But that sandwich is just a wonderful thing. I love their everything bagel sandwich. Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds good. Actually, that'd be another highlight. Some burgers. In the summer, we tend to grill more often, obviously.
Yeah.
And when you're stuck at home during a quarantine and stuff, we grill more. And I had a few burgers that we did that were super delicious. I like the caramelized onions, blue cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Some really fresh, tasty tomatoes. You know, you got to get the
Have you ever made blue cheese butter for steaks?
Blue cheese butter? No, I have. I made some nice garlic butter yesterday, but no, blue cheese butter.
Yeah.
Do you just mix it? Do you just whip it together?
I think so. If I remember right, you whip together blue cheese and butter, and then you put like a dollop on a steak. And then it's just melted blue cheesy goodness, buttery. Oh, man. That is so good.
It's a good thing I ate before this podcast.
Yeah. We did something kind of fun. Natalie and I had a date night. And one of the cool things about 2020 is we bought a school bus a couple years ago. And we finished converting the school bus to a camper this summer.
As one would do.
And yeah. And we didn't get to use it a ton, but we got to use it a few times. And Natalie and I, for a date night, we went and parked the bus at the lake, and then we cooked out. We cooked out, you know, and so that was a lot of fun. We did steaks and all kinds of things, but grilled veggies, anyway, so that was Brussels sprouts. I bought Brussels sprouts for that experience. Seth, are you doing okay, buddy? Yeah, you hanging in there? So, anyways, but yeah, it was amazing. So maybe when you and Alyssa are here again, we can all take the bus out and just leave our kids. I have a 14-year-old now, so he can take care of your little crew, I'm sure. I'm sure.
That's that is an idea.
It's a scary thought. That's a very scary thought.
You realize we have 4 young children, right?
I know you do. It'd be overwhelming for any adult, but I'm sure my 14-year-old can.
Hey, if I can brag about my wife a little bit, I was doing home office today, and she was watching our 4 kids plus 3 extra kids.
Wow!
And they're all running around. So, and it's a lot of work. For her, but she's amazing, incredible. I don't know if I would want to put your son though in that situation. I guess is what I'm trying to think.
No, I think we could maybe find some additional help. That might be able to tackle the project. But did I ever tell you? Did I ever tell you about the time that we took on additional children, and then everybody got the flu?
I don't know.
So our friends, Eric and Robin, had a ski trip that they wanted to go on. And we said we would watch their, at that time, 3 children. Mm-hmm. They have 5 now. But 3 cute little, beautiful, wonderful little girls. And so we said, absolutely, we'd love to watch these little precious kiddos. And so they drop them off on Friday. And Friday goes pretty well. I think if I remember right, we had 1 kiddo that night of our own that wasn't feeling very good. And started puking through the night. And so we're like, oh, shoot, 1 kid down, 1 kid. Well, unfortunately, Saturday morning rolls around. Natalie starts heaving, right? She starts losing it. And so now she's down, and I've got 1 sick child that I'm taking care of. And so altogether we had 6 children. So we had 6 kiddos, 1 kiddo throwing up. My wife was throwing up. And by the time Sunday night rolled around, I had, I think, 2 or 3 children throwing up, plus Natalie throwing up. My mom finally came to help. God bless her. It felt like I was on a game show of sorts. It's like, it just felt like everybody had an earpiece. It's like cue the wife. Let's take her out of the game now. Let's see what he can handle. Because when you have little kids, and at the time, the oldest child may have been 10. Mm-hmm. At that time, 10 or 11, and so that would have been Cade. But yeah, that was a wild time. Lots of puke, lots of diapers. Yeah, it was just crazy.
Did you just wear those big rubber gloves the whole weekend? The ones you use,
really don't.
Like in a deep, when you clean a really really hot fryer or something.
You know how your brain just tries to filter out some of the extra traumatic situations in your life. Uh-huh. I think that's one of them that my brain has just tried to replace with good thoughts.
Burned your entire wardrobe after the weekend was over.
Oh man. That was crazy, but they had fun on their ski trip, and we survived. And I'm very thankful that my mom eventually came and helped me out a little bit. So that really made it much more tolerable or bearable or whatever. But yeah, that did not happen in 2020. But if you could describe 2020, I think that would be a very good analogy. A way to describe 2020 as a whole. Extra kids for the weekend, people throwing up all over, and
Hey guys, it's Seth. Some of you might be wondering, I wish there was a way to follow these guys and what they're up to. Well, I don't know if you heard about a little thing called the internet. That's right. If you check us out at twitter.com/WeWillJourney1, you'll be able to keep updated on what we're up to and maybe some future interviews or projects we're working on. Catch yous later. It's interesting, actually. I think our 2020 was since we've had kids, probably the least amount of sickness I think we've had. And I think
same here. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that's probably correlated with. Or what's it, correlated? Is that a word? It's
yeah.
It's because
what was that word
around.
We were trying to think of the other day? Wasn't start with the R.
Pre-millennialism.
No.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
I think one of the words I threw out was reconciliation, but that wasn't
reconciliation.
The word.
Reconcilable.
Recollection. That was the word we couldn't think. Recollection. We finally settled on recallation.
I think you felt pretty proud after you said that, right? You're like, recallation.
I never felt good or proud. I never felt proud about any of that. Recollection. We could not think of that word for anything. It finally got hammered out, but that happened in 2021 though, because that could have been our word of 2020.
Oh man,
recollection.
What is our word? Yeah, what is our word of 2020?
I don't know. We'd have to go back and listen.
There was another one too that we struggled with, and that might have been before the new year.
Yeah.
Far from New.
What was your favorite podcast episode of 2020 that we did?
Gosh.
Do you have one, or an interview maybe or something?
It's like that old adage.
We interviewed,
it's like your kids. You can't choose just one.
Well, we interviewed Yeshua. That was our first, and then we
so bits and pieces of a lot of episodes were enjoyable. It was just fun to catch up to those different people and for us to be able to converse so much. I really enjoyed one of the James. Because with Mr. Fong, because I don't get to talk to him hardly ever, and is a person that makes me laugh a lot and makes me think a lot, and so those things kind of culminated.
Yeah.
Culminated. What do you say?
I'm not going to help you.
It's just
I'm not going to help you.
Equals a fantastic experience, and so that was probably the highlight, as I think. And then anytime we got to talk to friends, some of them, part of it is like it's fun because you see like when you talk to Klaus or Joshua that how interesting and smart they are, and then how lucky I am that I get to see them and talk to them more often.
Yeah. Well, we had a lot of fun people that we talked to. James definitely was just a total riot. The funny thing about our interview with James was that dude, he can switch gears on you so quickly. He would have us rolling. We would be like laughing, and then he would go from funny anecdote to drop dead serious in like a millisecond. And we're still laughing, and now he's already on to something totally serious, and our laughter becomes totally inappropriate.
I know, yeah.
And it makes you feel like a real you-know-what. And so, yeah, that was one of the funny things about that interview with James that we did, was just how quick he could switch gears and how stupid it made us seem.
And how much he probably takes pleasure in that.
What a bunch of insensitive jerks, But yeah, that was fun. But yeah, some highlights for me about 2020 though would be definitely like my family and I working on this bus together. That was a big highlight, and then enjoying it together. We actually had a pass to kind of like these private lakes or little sand pits,
Mm-hmm.
And so the grandparents chipped in and bought some kayaks for the boys.
Oh, wow, cool.
And so we had kayaks and fishing rods and, all the stuff. And yeah, so we would go out to these sand pits and spend the night in the bus. And it was just amazing. It was such a wonderful time as family. And really 2020 as a whole for us just equated to a lot of good family time. One of the other things is we had a big garden this year, which was incredible. And Cade, my oldest son, he planted a huge pumpkin garden.
Oh, wow.
And grew these huge, amazing, beautiful pumpkins. And he sold them, and he made money selling them, and we got to enjoy them. But here's the deal with my son. So Natalie and I, we both love to cook and bake, and so we spend, the kitchen's kind of like our hub. And Natalie has processed pumpkins herself for a long time, and so we've always kind of had our own pumpkin puree. But Cade learned how not only to grow pumpkins, but then how to process pumpkins and puree them and make the puree and make pie. He started out with, the store-bought pie crust. Uh-huh. He would just make the filling, but now he makes his own crust. So he literally has grown the pumpkin, made his own puree, made his own crust. He'll bake, 2 pies a week, these days. So that kid goes through pumpkin pie like none other. So that's just been a beautiful thing to just kind of watch, kind of this, and, it's just because of all this, because of the pandemic, because of everything, just changed the dynamics of our summer. And this is how we, altered course. Yeah. So just a huge thing there. Chaplaincy's been big for me this year, or for 2020 and this year. But something we did in February is we adopted Greta. So we went to the Humane Society. I snuck into the Humane Society.
Snuck?
I didn't tell my wife about it.
Gosh.
Our dog, we'd lost the Schnauzies. We had 2 Schnauzies. They both, about a year apart, died of tumors. And so we lost our second Schnauzie, Ari, in the fall. And Natalie's like, I don't want another dog right now. I don't want to have to deal with that. So, I kind of said, okay, babe, that sounds good. Like, no way. I don't know if I can live without a dog. I love a dog. I love having a dog around. So obviously that's being overly dramatic, but, So I did sneak to the, I was out and about one day, and I thought, I'm just going to pop into the Humane Society to see what's going on, see if there's anything, that I might be able to convince my wife about. And,
but you knew what was going to happen.
I was hoping, crossed my fingers, hoping. And so, have you ever been into like a shelter?
That's actually, I don't know if I have.
It's chaotic. It's chaotic when you walk into the dog side of it, and they see you. They just go nuts. They're barking, they're jumping. It's just a lot of movement. And a lot of noise. It gets very loud. And so here are all these dogs barking and jumping, and then here is Greta, who's not barking. She's not jumping. She's just sitting there looking at me, kind of wiggling her butt, excited to see me. And I thought, one of the things that Natalie never liked about the Schnauzers were they bark. They just love to bark. It's like their love language is barking. And that drove her nuts. And so I thought, this could be the dog. So we brought her out, I got to play with her a little bit, and just a lovely dog. I said, well, we'll have to talk about it and think about it. I'll bring my family back. And so I come home, mention it to Natalie. I immediately get in trouble. So I'm immediately in trouble for even suggesting it, so I finally say, babe, listen, can we just go meet the dog? Can we meet her? And if you're not into it, it's fine. We don't have to adopt a dog, and we'll even go away for the weekend. We had plans and kind of let it play out, so if somebody else adopts a dog, no big deal. So we go meet Greta. That wasn't her name at the time. She had some awful name. And so anyways, we play with her. Kids get to play with her. Natalie sees what a wonderful dog she is, and, basically says, load her up, and, Natalie is not an animal person, but she loves Greta. I mean, she loves Greta. She still will not show Greta like a lot of affection, but she will go out of her way and do nice things for Greta. She started making her sweet potato chews just out of the blue. She's like, honey, I read an article about this, that dogs really like these. And so she just kind of started making sweet potato chews, and Greta just goes nuts for them. She'll do anything. She'll do anything for a sweet potato chew. So anyways, I've been blabbing a lot, Seth. Tell me another little exciting little thing from 2020.
Well, we have this dog named Gertrude, who.
Okay.
No, we don't. I wished I had my own falling in love with the dog and bringing it home, and my family embracing the dog, but I don't.
Story.
But
it's a great story.
It is a good story, man.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I had some wacky experiences when we took, in the summer. I don't know what it's looking like time-wise.
We're close. We're
getting to the landing pad.
We are getting to there, but go ahead, please.
Usually in the summer, if we can, and we have any money, we like to go to the States and visit our friends and our family, right? This summer, there happened to be some other things going on in the world, and it made that pretty much like, we're not going to be able to do that. And so we decided to go on a road trip with a friend, and a lot of times, because it was kind of late notice and we weren't sure what we were even going to be able to do, if we could even leave the country, if we could even rent a car, any of that, it was pretty spontaneous. And since we are spontaneous
people,
that's kind of okay usually. But we did run into a few situations with Airbnbs that left an impression. There was one time we went to the city of Budapest in Hungary. And I had been up late, and we were looking at places to stay, and we always try to find cheap Airbnb Airbnb that's affordable and big enough, for everybody, obviously. Mm-hmm. And so I got this place, and I booked it, and I got the confirmation, and they're like, "Yep, you're good to go. 2 nights. Have time for us to kind of walk around the city and explore it. Not be too stressful." And so we did that. We had a wonderful first afternoon. We got some local food, and kind of enjoyed a fun evening with the kids. And then the next morning, we kind of take our time, have breakfast, just kind of relaxing, like, okay, let's go on a walk, let's hit the city, let's explore. And so we go out, and we're about to leave, and this cleaning lady shows up, and, she doesn't really speak English very well or German, and so we're trying to figure out what's going on, why is she here, what's he trying to communicate. Like, I was like, we don't need anybody to clean, like, we literally just been here one night, it's totally fine, like, our stuff is everywhere. We just arrived, and she's like, no, I need to get in, and I need to clean up your apartment, blah, blah. And we're like, no, please, just, don't worry about it. And she was like, okay. And then she, like, called somebody, and then somebody called us, and they're like, you need to check out. You're supposed to check out, like, half an hour ago. And I was like, no, I booked for 2 nights. Like, we booked for 2 nights, totally. And they're like, yeah, you booked for 2 nights ago and last night, and you need to check out in 10 minutes. And I was like, what? Like, no way. I was on last night, like, I was online, I did it, and then I looked back, and I had booked it like 12:30 a.m. or something.
Oh yeah.
And it was like I thought I was booking for the next day, but it booked that night that I booked. And so, like, we had to run in, grab all of our crap as fast as possible. Alyssa was down with the kids, packing up all the stuff. We ended up leaving a toiletry bag with my razor that I'd had for like 10 years. And some other stuff, and then we still walked around the city a little bit, but we were gonna meet up with some colleagues of ours that live there, and it was just too stressful. That didn't work out, and it's one of those things where I was like, we've had some interesting experiences with like cleaning people a few times on trips, and but this time I was like, what's with this lady? Like, she doesn't get it. Like, we don't need anything. So that was kind of
fine. Thank you.
That was fun.
Thank
and
you.
One other short memory I will share is there was another place, and we arrived late at night, and it was another kind of spontaneous booking because a different apartment didn't work out. And so I get there, it's the middle of the night, the kids are all asleep in the car, right? Mm-hmm. Alyssa's asleep, this other lady that's with us is asleep, so I want to get out really really quietly without waking anybody up, and I go to the place, and this guy just sent me these instructions: go to the door, unlock the code, and you can get in, all good, whatever. So I go to this door, there's no code, there's no padlock, there's no nothing. So I go back, I try to call him, he doesn't answer, I try to text him, he doesn't answer, I walk around, talk to some locals, and they're like, yeah, this is the place. And it's super dark, it's not well lit, and so I'm like, I'm walking around, stumbling around in the dark. I see there's light in this other people's apartment, and I see that they're freaked out because I'm like walking around in their yard trying to figure out where to go. And then I go back and I stumble and like fall down like a foot down into this driveway, hurt my hand. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what the heck am I doing? And like, I keep riding back and forth to this guy, and he finally gets back to me. He's like, I gotta sleep. I gotta get up early for work. Why do you keep messaging me? And I was like, I can't find it. I can't get in. And he's like, you just go. I don't know what to tell you. Go to the door, type in the code, and get in the room. I can't do anything for you. Leave me alone. And so then I go up there one more time. I look at the door handle, and I'm like, I don't get it. And I look, and the door handle's like a little bit bigger than a normal door handle, and it's black and smooth. And I was like, huh? And so I start tapping on it, and it like lights up. It was like this little black digital. It was like a third of the size of like my phone. And then we type in digitally this code, and we get in. And I think it was about an hour of me stumbling around in the dark, calling, trying to get a hold of this guy. Going back to the car. Oh man, that was. And then we get in, and we were literally all in one room, which is like, it was like the size of not even the size, probably the size of that teeny little room that we stayed in Vienna, and it was for all 7 of us.
Nice.
Bunk beds that felt like they were gonna fall apart as soon as you touched one. the shower was clogged. So if you took a shower, you had to turn it off every 2 seconds so it didn't overflow. Yeah, man.
Oh.
Good times.
Oh.
So there you go. You know, you got a dog.
You had not told me those stories from that trip. You had told me other stories, but I don't think I'd heard those. So
There's a lot of stories. We also stayed in a farmhouse in Poland that didn't have running water, and we had to bury our,
I think you told me about that one. Yeah.
So there's
that. Maybe we can talk about that next time. In kind of like our How to Go Green episode.
Yeah, how to go green, how to grow the best potatoes. Matt Damon taught us that.
How to fertilize your yard. We also have a composting toilet in our bus, so
wow,
we could compare notes. Maybe
we could do a whole series. We got to find somebody. I mean, if not Matt Damon, I'm sure we could get somebody who's an expert on that kind of gardening.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, Seth, this has been fun. I know it's a little incomplete, but we're at 50 some minutes, and I have a job. So,
hey guys, appreciate you checking in with us again today. We appreciated your listening over the last number of months. I want to also shout out to our friend Clemens. Got a little bit of his music here at the end, and just want to encourage you guys to check him out. Clemens Eisner on YouTube.
I've been drowned and sank to the ground. The box pulls me down while beans turn greener. I've been drowned. I'm trying to shout, but no one hears the sound of screaming. When you've been drowned. One box fades into the brackish fog. My toes land on muddy fleece next to rotten logs. It's hard to move, I feel like I'm locked in a cotton cage. The swamps all up silent like a grave. Blurry figures sneaking through the creeper's wood. Impromptu adoption is far too well understood. Dull acceptance vital to this underwater culture, while the spikes cycling us like vultures. I've been drowned.